Hi. So I was just about to start filming a video and then my mum turned up with treats. I just wanted to show you what my mum's brought. Look how incredible she is. She brought me fries, garlic bread, pizza, cream eggs. How incredible. Ooh, my mum's just started a new job at the Co-op. If you're not in the UK, it's just like a small kind of supermarket chain. She's just started a new job there and she gets staff discount, and all of that she got for like less than a tenner. I'm so happy. Okay, on to the video. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 LGBTQ+ middle grade books that I think everyone needs to read without question. Middle grade is one of those sort of age ranges that doesn't get enough credit. You get people like Gavin at How to Train Your Gavin, who are such, like, they talk so much about middle grade books. If you haven't seen his videos, then go and check him out. But yeah, generally YA gets a lot of the sort of press. It gets a lot of the credit for kind of getting young people into reading, but middle grade is one of those things that I don't think gets near enough credit. So yeah, I'm going to share 3 kind of middle grade or the young side of YA that I think everybody needs to read, and they're all books that have LGBTQ+ authors and characters. So yeah, let's get going. So I'll do these in order that I read them. The first one is King and the Dragonflies by Casey Callender. I love this book so much. I read this last year and it blew my mind. It's incredible. It's the first book I read by Casey Callender, and if you're not sure who they are, Felix Ever After is another book that is very big at the moment. I really need to read that. It's out now, I think, but it's on my TBR, definitely. I need to buy it. But this one is about a little boy called King, and his brother dies. And King kind of sees his brother, he believes he can see his brother as a dragonfly down by, there's kind of like a creek that they live near, and he goes to kind of, he keeps disappearing to go and watch the dragonflies because he believes that his brother who passed away is one of the dragonflies. And it's such a sweet story, but it also deals with racism and bullying, and it also is about King is trying to figure out if he's gay or not. He has a friend who is bullied because he's gay, and King is kind of like, he doesn't want to be bullied like his friend, so he hides that side of him. But him and his friend kind of, they have this very secret friendship. His friend runs away, and King is the only one who knows where his friend is. So yeah, there's just so many themes. I could just talk about this for so long. I've reviewed this on my blog, I think. I always forget what I've reviewed and what I haven't. If I haven't, then I definitely will soon. But yeah, I really recommend this. If you want a book that has some really great themes, like I said, racism, bullying, but also kind of finding yourself and dealing with grief, especially as a child, coming to terms with your sexuality when you're very young, protecting your friends, like King is such a protective friend. All he wants is for his friend not to get hurt. All these books, I'd say, are maybe, I think middle grade is like 8+. This is maybe a little bit older, but yeah, whether you're a child or an adult, you will love this, and I really recommend it. So the next one is one that I read very recently. This is technically YA, but it kind of reads as the sort of younger end of YA. I think the main character is 13 or 14 or something like that. So it kind of reads as like the younger end of YA. So I'm kind of classing it in the middle grade, in this kind of middle grade video. But that is Love, Frankie by Jacqueline Wilson. So Jacqueline Wilson obviously is kind of like a children's or middle grade author, and this is her first YA book. I don't know if it's because Jacqueline Wilson is so used to writing children's books that it reads kind of a lot younger than a lot of YA. I'd recommend this for, I'd say, younger teenagers. I'd say maybe the youngest you can go is maybe young teen, because there are some things mentioned in it that I think if you're an older child, it might be a bit, kind of a little bit mature. But yes, even so, so good. I kind of had a couple of issues with this. I need to write a full review. I'll be doing that as soon as I can. I think I gave it 3 stars, but for the LGBTQ rep, it's basically, it's about a girl who, what's her name? I've forgotten what her name is. I'm trying to remember the main character's name, and it's in the flipping title of the book. Oh my god. This is about a girl called Frankie, and she, I think, like I said, she's about 13 or 14, and she, again, similar to King and the Dragonflies, she is young, coming to terms with the fact that she could be gay. She realises that she really likes a girl in her class called Sally, but Sally is kind of like the class bully. It's definitely like a sort of enemies to lovers story, but for younger teenagers. It's all about her kind of exploring her relationship with Sally, but Sally doesn't want to be seen as somebody who wants to go out with girls. I think she's not really sure of herself. The story is just really sweet, and you've got it kind of makes it even better now since we know that Jacqueline Wilson is gay. It becomes this sort of own voices story that I really enjoyed. Yeah, apart from some of the things that towards the end I was kind of like, I'm not a big fan of Frankie as a character sometimes. I think the way that the kind of exploration of her sexuality as a younger teen is done really well. I think a lot of times we see, in YA particularly, sexuality is talked about with older teenagers, so maybe 16 plus. It's not talked about very often with teenagers that are younger. So that is where this comes in. It kind of fills that gap where you've got these younger teens trying to figure out whether they like each other, and it's kind of, they call each other girlfriends and then 10 minutes later they're broken up and then they get back together again, and it's just a really sweet sort of romance story between these two girls who are trying to come to terms with their sexuality. Finally is one that I am on the blog tour for in a couple of days actually. I think the 10th of February. I will be reviewing it on my blog. I'm about halfway through this, but I love it already. And that is Proud of Me by Sarah Hager-Holt. I think she's written children's books before, but this is her first, it's like a debut sort of middle grade novel. So this is about 2 siblings called Becky and Josh. I think they're about 12, they're in year 8 in school, and they have 2 mums, so they were conceived using a sperm donor. So they're about 8 days apart, but they just kind of find it easier to call each other their twin. And Josh kind of feels like he's got to the age where he wants to know about his father, so the person that donated the sperm. He wants to know who he is. He's getting really sort of interested in finding out where he came from and whether he has any biological sort of brothers and sisters. Becky isn't as bothered by it. She's happy knowing that they have their little family and their family is unique as it is, and she's kind of perfectly happy like this. But Becky's issue is that she thinks that she fancies a girl from school. Again, quite similar to Love Frankie. There's a new girl who starts school and she's kind of like this super cool, she's American and everyone's like, oh, she's got an interesting accent and she's got all these crazy stories from America, and she's kind of this really cool girl that everyone likes. But she, at the point where I am anyway, she is really sort of intrigued by her and she constantly wants to talk to her, but she's also really scared to talk to her. She just really wants to get to know this new girl. So yeah, you've got her dealing with her sexuality, and then you've got Josh dealing with sort of wanting to know who his sperm donor is. Really interesting. There's not many stories that I know of that cover like sperm donors and being sort of donor siblings. So one thing I really love about this is Becky and Josh's mums. They're really interesting. I think another layer that kind of adds an interesting dynamic is that one of their mums is Jewish, so they talk about going to the synagogue and they have their sort of Friday night dinner, and they talk about having, like Josh talks about getting ready for his bar mitzvah. So that's another kind of interesting layer that you learn about as well. If kids don't know anything about maybe what it's like to have gay parents, what it's like to have parents that are different faiths, and then you've also got Becky dealing with her sexuality, but it's in a way that she's quite open about it because she has two mums, so it's not something that she is scared about or she's ashamed about, because her mums have brought her up to it's a normal thing, it's just a thing that happens at home. It's not something that she has to kind of learn about. She also has her best friend is gay and he's great. He's like setting up an LGBT society in their school, which is really cool. It's kind of like a pride society that Becky is getting involved with. But yeah, on top of that, then you've also got Josh, and you learn about them being donor siblings and him having this sort of intrigue to know who his sperm donor is. So yeah, there's a lot of layers to this that I think kids, or even people that are older, like I'm loving it and still learning things from it now. Really good. Definitely recommend. Like I said, I am on the blog tour in a few days for this, so my full review will be up on my blog on the 10th of February. So if you're interested in seeing my full thoughts once I've finished it, then go there. There's a link to my blog in the description. So there you go. 3 books that are LGBTQ books, whether they have LGBT authors or I think they maybe all are LGBTQ authors. And they also have LGBT characters and themes, but also a whole load of other themes that are, I think, super important for maybe older kids, early teens to start reading about, just to kind of broaden their horizons a bit and for them to start learning things about these important sort of life themes. So yeah, if you've read any of these, let me know what you think in the comments, or if you haven't, then let me know if any of them are interesting to you and if you're going to read them or recommend them to some young people that you know. I'll see you soon with a new video. Bye! So in this video, I'm going to share with you I need to think about what I'm saying before I say it. By the way, Schitt's Creek fans, where you at?